There we go. Yay, here we go. All right. Welcome to Jotform Basics, our free workshop today here, presented by me, your Powerhouse Coach, Sara Hurst. I'm excited to be with you guys today. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm working through this voice thing today. I think it's still going to be a great workshop, though. First and foremost, though, I want to talk about me. That's not first and foremost. I just forgot that was the next slide. But I am Sara Hurst. I've been a coach since 2019 and I've been loving it. Lots of changes going on through then. I've tried a lot of things. I've scrapped a lot of things. I've held tight to a lot of things that really work for me, and using Jotform is one of them. I'm a founding member of Powerhouse Coaches. I'm a personal finance coach, and I really like to lean into boundaries because I see a lot of my clients struggling with their boundaries where they end and where other people begin in their finances. So I like to call that out because it also highlights how they do that in other parts of their lives. And then we talk about the mindset transformation that happens too, because that's really how you're going to go the distance, is when you have that shift in how you're thinking about things. So, and then I highly value putting things on autopilot. Like I love autopilot. I am that cruise control girl going down the freeway as often as possible, even country roads if I can manage it. But automations just like save my sanity so much. And so Jotform does that for me. And I'm excited to share that with you. Okay, next month, Abby is talking about consultations, kind of dialing those in for you. She's talking about things that have worked really great for her, things that have worked great for other Powerhouse coaches and other coaches that she knows. That's a whole hour that we're going to be looking at that. And that is a paid for deep dive. And if you're a part of our Powerhouse Coach Collaborative already, you're already in. You just have to go register for it and make sure it gets on your calendar so you don't miss it. That is June 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is a great option, of course, for people who aren't working in their coaching practice during the day and live on the East Coast. And then it's also late enough in the day for us West Coasters, hashtag Best Coast, because you can probably get off a little bit early if you need to. These are also recorded, so you can find those in our Powerhouse Coach Collaborative video trainings section. And if you're like, I'm not sure if I want to go for the whole Powerhouse Coach Collaborative thing yet, you can buy the deep dive a la carte for $37. But I mean, why would you? Because joining for a month after your 2-week free trial in PCC is also $37. And if you do an annual membership at 407, that's like getting a month free. We love throwing those in for you. This is just a little peek about how to find some of those video trainings in here. We did one on YNAB. We've done some on automations. Abby did a great job on that. She covers a lot of different automation types like Zapier and gosh, there's this tree one. Can't remember all of them, but there were so many great ones in there that I have yet to implement, but some of them I do. We talked about Google Business Page, Canva, lots of great resources in there. Usually the workshops are going to be running you about 30 minutes and the deep dives about an hour. So back to the topic at hand today, though, Jotform Basics, your free workshop. Let's talk about why use a form builder at all. Jotform's not the only one out there, so let's talk about why they could be important to you in your business. It really gives you a professional look. We're all about wanting to make sure we look like we're coming from a position of authority when we're in our coaching business, and having these nice templates that you're using and presenting to your clients and other people that you work with. Maybe it's a referral partner, maybe it's a lead, maybe it's a workplace wellness program that you want to start. Having these kinds of forms can really contribute toward you looking professional because it's automated. Well, that's not why, because it just has that vibe. So I'll let show you some of mine. I'm excited to do that. I've worked hard on them, and we can also get better every single time. I know they're not perfect. But I think that they've really worked and served me well. So I'm happy to share those with you. Another reason to use a form builder is to streamline data collection. We can make this nice and easy. We don't have to be sending emails back and forth and hoping that they send it to us in the right format that we're wanting. We don't have to have people read our minds for like what kinds of things we want to hit. We don't have to use a Google Doc where you have to struggle with some formatting issues, like maybe all their text is showing up in red and that's really annoying to you. Or the font is wrong, or the paragraphs are wrong, and it just it looks a little wonky. So, excuse me, having that data collection streamlined for you by using the same form all the time is a sanity saver. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line for a lot of these sanity savers. Okay. Next one is to simplify your processes. If you know that you always need this form filled out for someone to meet with you for a consult, Boom, you send them the link. It's super easy. You don't have to customize something for them each and every time. You can just have your little roster of forms that you need filled out and send it to them. It's pretty handy. I like that a lot. We're also creating consistency. And this is more on the business side of things for you, so that you know when you're walking into a consult, you've got all the same information that you expect to have for every single consult. I use a questions guide when I work through a consult. And so I'm trying to make sure that I'm asking the questions that kind of line up with what I had learned on their intro form or financial snapshot form that some people may use. I like having that consistency, that side by side helps me stay on task and keeps from fumbling a lot, which points to that professional look. Yay. These are all tied together, you guys. It's like a beautiful web. All right. We're also going to remove hurdles for leads and other people alike, of course. If we've got that kind of like canned thing that we can send them each and every time, it also cuts down on that processing time as well. Because if you can build these forms and then add that link to your scheduling platform and the reminders, like you don't have to send it out a bunch of times type of thing. So isn't that nice? It's simplifying things for them. They've got that one list of things that they know they need to do, and that creates an easier flow for them. Okay. And I mean, automate where you can. Make things simpler for you so you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. Hey, did that work for that person and not for that person? You're going to take those moments to kind of reflect and see if there are tweaks that need to be made. But for the large part, you're going to like set it and forget it. Like, do we love that? Do we love crock pots? Do we love hitting the microwave button? Yeah, we do. So here we go. Automate everything you can. And you know me and my boundaries. This using forms can contribute to maintaining clear boundaries with people, because in my client onboarding form, I include my agreement. And that is talking a lot about my boundaries and my policies. And so I know that if they are going all the way down to submit the form, that they have acknowledged that they agree to the terms. And so I can have them sign it if I'd like. I just removed that hurdle. In my world, I didn't need them to virtually sign it. I just have them click a box and submit it. Okay. And I love having those boundaries. So it's clear in there. Oh, duplicate slide there. Here we go. Let's compare two top form builders. I'm a fan of Jotform. I could not tell you why I started with Jotform though, because it's been a minute. I knew that it had an option for a paid platform. And so that's why I started there. And because Suzanne actually reminded me that when we don't pay for things, there's something the company is getting in trade for our money, that they're not getting our dollars, but they're getting data somehow, right? There's something valuable that they're getting from us when they give us something for free, like Facebook. I mean, go down that rabbit hole if you want. But to compare Jotform and Google Forms, the two popular ones out there, I wanted to highlight that Jotform does have a free option. You start out with those 5 free forms. There's limits on storage. We're gonna walk through like what it looks like to like start your first Jotform account as free. And since it's been a minute for me, I just like entered my email address and then I have the next page waiting. And so we're going to find out together how easy it is and what things are available, because I didn't want to show you my account that is paid for. I have a legacy plan, so I'm paying a reduced rate right now, but I didn't want to show you features that weren't available in the free plan. So when we get to that point, we'll get to explore it together. The Google Forms is free. Isn't that handy? Okay. Jotform, though, has a comprehensive builder tool. And for some people, that's great. Nerds like me in those things, we love the options. But for some people, that can be overwhelming, having too many options, to the analysis by paralysis thing. So Google Forms is a bit more intuitive. I don't have personal experience with it. This is some of the research that I've done, though. And it does have fewer options, which may be a part of that simplification that you need. Maybe it's a great place for you to start and to realize, you know what, I really want to build it this way, and then find that it doesn't fit your needs, and then you start checking out Jotform. Okay. But those are two of the differences on that level. Jotform has a very extensive template library. That's another one of those things. You could spend a lot of time looking at all the different templates that you want to, all the different graphics in the background, the different things that they can do, the different colors and all that. I get a little bit nerdy about those things. But with Google Forms, it's a simplified template library, which can help hone your focus, of course. There's only 5 options. I don't know how many options are. If there's only so many options, you have to choose one of them, right? Instead of spending an hour or more of your time deciding which one you want to go with. This is a big one. In Jotform, there's 20 basic fields and 500 widgets. So widgets are little tools that you can add into the form. Google Forms only has 11 question types. So it's a lot more straightforward. So if you're like, I just want something short and quick that I can use every single time that I know it's going to deliver, then Google Forms may be where it's at for you. Okay. Of course, you store all that data in your Google Drive. Conditional logic. I like rules, and I like simplifying the form so it only looks this big when you get into it. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean. And then I create rules on the back side of it so that if you say that you are married, it opens up this new section for your spouse to fill out information about them, type of thing. Otherwise, if you click that you're not married, then it doesn't show you those extra fields. You don't have to worry about them. It's reducing that mental load, if you will. And so I love conditional logic in forms. So those are a lot of fun. Google does have, and you can use that for calculations too. So if you're like trying to figure out, I've done this with a net worth calculator. I have that all calculated out in the conditional logic so we can see what their bottom line is for their net worth, which has been a really great tool, because then I asked them a follow-up question. I'm like, when you saw that number, how did it make you feel? You know, were you surprised? Were you encouraged? Were you feeling like really down on yourself? And I have them kind of fill in that paragraph. Google Forms does have some conditional logic. Again, it's more simplified, limited, exclusive. Okay, when we talk about forms though, sometimes we want them to take payments, and Jotform does them all of them. So many payment platforms you can integrate with Jotform, but with Google Forms, it can integrate only with Google Play. And I'm not sure how reliable it is. Some of the verbiage that I read made me wonder if it's only for certain settings. I'm not sure. It's something you'd have to explore a little bit before you start putting it out there if you really want your form to be able to accept payments. All right, white labeling. Okay. Our emails can get filtered by the settings that are set up. I don't know all the magic, but I struggled with this when I first started using Jotform. Jotform saw some keywords in my forms that I was creating, and they blacklisted me from being able to use the form anymore. I had to go prove to them that I was not trying to collect sensitive financial information like passwords and account numbers. And I had to wait. I had to wait for those things to go through to get approved and white labeled for my whole account. Sorry, not just the form. Of course, it was targeted on that form that I first used, but I couldn't use my Jotform account for a little bit until I got whitelisted. So there may be some value in finding an existing template out there if it's got a lot of the information that you already need. Otherwise, you might have to spend some time waiting a beat to get white labeled in Jotform. Google Forms, there's no white labeling. So that's going to depend a lot probably on your domain settings and what you have already verified and everything there. And the e-signatures too. You can do that in Jotform. You cannot do that in Google Forms. So decide on how valuable that is a feature to you. Whoops. That's right. We're going to look over here at Sarah's new client onboarding form. So I set this up with page breaks so that you're not seeing all the information all at once. It's a pretty handy little tool, but I give a little like outline of what's going on in here. We're not going to be able to get super far in this form because I'm not going to fill it all out, but this is just a preview of what mine looks like. I have these red asterisks so that they know that they're required. And then here's one of those conditional things. If I say yes, then we get some more fields that just magically appear based on some of the rules that I made in the background. And same thing for here. And then I like to know names and ages of children. Pets. I mean, like this is necessary for a lot of people. We gotta know about their pets because sometimes people have expensive pets. Suzanne is like, yeah, that's her right now. And so I just like to know their names and species. So these are just some ideas of things that you can include in your Jotform. This is a new client onboarding form. And this question about it being a long day, that's for me to get to know them. I like to know about reading because a lot of times I'll send them different resources. And yeah, let's see how far I can get in this page. Oh, this is a new one that I've added because I wanted to provide a space for clients to let me know about any of their neurodivergent tendencies or any mental health issues that they're currently facing. And it's been really great for me to kind of know that going in and to create a silent exchange, if you will, of them giving me that information. Like I don't have to point blank ask them these questions type of thing. So obviously the list could be much longer. If they click other, they can type in their other thing here. And I just want to highlight on this, totally not related to Jotform at all, but I ask that they want me to know about. They don't have to disclose this. I mean, they don't have to. It's just something if they want me to know about it, if they think that it would be valuable, if they feel comfortable sharing, then they can put that in here. They might tell me in month 5 that, yeah, they've been living actually with bipolar disorder, you know, and I'd be like, okay, that makes some things fit together a little bit better in my brain now for how we've been coaching together. I also like to know if faith plays a role in their life. And this is fun too. You can put a little, like, what do they call it? It's not a subheading, a sub description, I guess, to kind of explain a bit more about what you're looking for. Like I don't need to know if they're confirmed or anything, if they're Catholic, but just their little, high level religious profile, if you will. Profile is not a good word. Like to know about estate plans, life insurance, introverted or extroverted. I probably already know, but it's good to kind of hear it from them and what they think. Mountain or beach vacation. And then a fun one, is pineapple an acceptable pizza topping in your opinion? We get some fun things in there. And I like adding some of my flavor into these questions and into the little descriptions as well. So obviously I can't go next because if I hit that and the required fields aren't completed, we get tons of red. I kind of wish I could change it from being red because that's really aggressive. But on a more simplified level, I also use Jotform for weekly accountability surveys. So for a lot of my clients, I call them once a week in the weeks that we don't have a session, just to check in, see how things are going, answer any questions that have come up. Those we do typically schedule. And then if not, then I will typically send them a weekly accountability survey. They also have an access link to this in their workbook. So this one is set up as cards, whereas the other one was set up as pages. And this is just the entry card there, that first one. Sarah, Vera. I'll let them know that they can add a little fun nickname if they want. And you guys, I love my squirrel, my scale of squirrel. Have you seen this before? There's other versions of it, but I just loved all the little pictures for the squirrel one. This one took a little bit of time to find all those little images and make sure I got them in the right spot and the right size. But on scale of squirrel, select your current mood, and they can pick as many as they like. I get the most? Why? Yeah, I get why and are you kidding me? A lot. And especially in the beginning of coaching, right? But yeah, Suzanne called it out in the chat. She's like, some of these automations do take some time to set up in the front end. They save me so much time on the backside. So let's just go Brad and bushy tailed for me. I like this progress bar on the bottom. I am all about progress bars. Like I love filling those little wins, like closer to the end. Have you ever taken a training program and they're like, oh, look, there's a milestone head. You get a little trophy, I'm like, where's the confetti too, But here I want to know if there's anything new for them to share with me, any things that have changed, action items that they're working on or stuck on. So I'm just gonna type yes for now so I can move on. And I don't know why it needs all those different settings, but they can change the text, I guess, if they would like to. Any questions for me? Mainly about their money life, but I also let them know that I'm a self-taught low carb nerd, so I can help them out with that too. Okay. And things we definitely want to talk about in our next session. Like this is clutch because sometimes like those moments hit them when they're not in session with me. So I want to provide that space of like doing that little brain dump type of thing, because maybe they just got out of a really weird meeting at work or they had a conversation with their sister-in-law and the mother-in-law is going crazy about the cruise that the whole family's supposed to go on. So we need to talk about that and how it impacts finances. Or it could be anything totally, it could be totally random. Sometimes I've gotten in there, when is your birthday? Like my, okay. Status of how homework is going. And this is a great like temperature gauge for me to find out if they're feeling confident or if they need some more support. So I get a lot of meh, it's going, and I'm likely to complete all tasks before our next session. I get some struggling with time management, may have to reschedule. That also gives me a little peek into the future. And then struggling with understanding. So if they check either of these, I'm not going to cancel their session, but I am probably going to know that I need to reach out kind of soon and have that direct contact. So we're going to say going great. And then I changed this seasonally. Obviously, it needs to be updated because it's talking about cold weather stuff. If I had to pick between these two things, I'd choose building a snow fort with friends. Let me hit submit. And then where's it take me? Oh, a thank you page. Stay committed to your goals this week. You can customize this, which is so fun. So, all right, what have we got next? Oh, we got the client onboarding form. Oh, okay. So this is the landing page for when you enter your email address and you've created a password. And this is where it took me immediately after I did that for your very brand new Jotform account. And it's saying, hey, you can start from scratch or you can use a template and look at some of these options down here, feedback forms, products, all these different things. And then you can see more templates. For now, let's just see about a customer service survey. Maybe use this for a client graduating your coaching program. You want to get some feedback from them about how things went, provide that extra space of them doing that silently, not having to worry about the immediate feedback or worry about your responses. Because I don't know about you, sometimes I'm better reading things than I am doing that live and in person for certain types of things. So here we can add our logo, which is super fun. It brings up this menu over here on the side. You can drag and drop your logo here. You can store a bunch of images in here. And then there's also the URL that you can add. I haven't done that. I just dropped my logo in there, which is handy. You can click, oops, got a couple of layers here of windows. Oh, no, that one's there. Okay. Add form element. So say we really like that we've got this here. Yes, that's information we want about their overall satisfaction, but we kind of want to know who this is from. Like that's not on here. Wouldn't that be handy? So it's so simple to add it. You can just click these things that you want to have in your form. And based on, you can see that this email field is highlighted right now. So the next thing I enter will go below that. Okay. If we want their phone number, your client, you've already got their phone number. But there's all these different things that you can add in here. The basic ones are here in this first menu. And then there's a lot of different options. I like drop down menus and single choice menus. Numbers is, of course, great when you're trying to get financial data. You can do credit card debt today. Then they can add in the number. It's got a sublabel. That's what it is. We found it. The term is called a sublabel. One of the neat things about this is that it's got that little gray number in there, so you can know kind of what that sample looks like to them. And if you want to change it, you can. And I love that. Where is that one? Is it under options or advanced? Okay, placeholder. So you can put in here, be honest. You can put something blunt if you want. You can leave it blank. You can put $0, anything you want. And then here you could put be honest if you're just trying to josh them a little bit. You can make this a required field under the general properties here. So they can't submit the form unless it's completed. Okay. Let's see. I want to do that sample logic, adding that conditional logic. name and that whole spouse thing. But I need to add an option for single choice. Are you married? And then put yes. We can put no. And then we can delete these other options or add more if we want. Okay, so we've got some of these fields that we want, form elements. Sorry, I'll use the right terms. Form elements that you want to create a rule about. And that's going to be under the settings up here at the top. So we're in build form right now. Then we want to go to settings. And then we go over here on the left side to conditions. And we want to show/hide a field. So there's all these different ways that you can use rules in your forms. Here's the calculation one. This one is about requiring different fields if you didn't do that per thing, I guess on the other side, on the build side. Skip to a future page if you're using the page mode. Change your customization, or sorry, change your thank you page. You're customizing it there. And then you can change the email recipient if you're working on a team and you're like, oh, I want all of these types of surveys to go to this one person. Okay. So let's just do show hide. Click on that and it says if, we're going to say, are you married? Is filled. No, not filled. Let's do is equal to, sorry. So if are you married, if the state is equal to the value of, and it only pulls those options that are in that single choice field that we added. If that one's equal to yes, then we want to show spouse's name. And then we can hit save. And then we can also create the inverse, show hide, if are you married is equal to no, then we can hide spouse's name. Okay, so let's go over and preview the form. This is super handy. Scroll down, enable. Oh, we don't need to do that. But now we know it's going to ask us if we want to enable the form, but we don't need to start receiving submissions yet. So if this says Sarah and we click no, then it hid the spouse's name field. Okay. If we clicked yes, then it shows the spouse's name field. And we can make this field required when we go back to the build side if we want type of thing. Sorry, not on the build side, because if we make it required and it's hidden, they'll never be able to submit the form. Okay, we don't want to cause that kind of frustration. So I'm going to say not now on that. And we're in preview. I really love this about Jotform too. You can preview desktop. You can preview what it looks like on a tablet, either portrait or landscape mode. Isn't that handy? And then phone, that one is probably the one you're going to need to look at the most, because you want to know how that's going to look to them. If you like the margins, you like how it's kind of doing their page breaks, how it's filling the page. And again, you can do portrait or landscape here, which is handy. Of course, with the free account, you're going to have the Jotform branding on there, and it's going to ask if I want to remove branding. We're not going to do that today because I already have a paid for account, and I like my legacy pricing on that. They told me I can't change my account at all or I'll lose my legacy pricing. I'm like, okay, well, we'll stay the course. We're doing good. All right. So that's a high level view of what it looks like to get into Jotform. If we want to go publish this form, we have to enable it. And then we're on this publish tab here. We can copy the link and then we can start pasting that into emails, into spreadsheets, into maybe you use Calendly and workflows. Maybe you have that go out in an email when they confirm that they've scheduled an appointment type of thing, or into the reminders. So there's lots of things in here that I have not explored. Some things that I'm like, oh, I want to do that someday. Other things I'm like, I don't have the brain for it. I don't need to try. So dive in to the level where you feel like you can manage it. Okay. But don't let it eat up your whole life. Automations are meant to simplify your life. If you're spending 3 weeks setting up your very first form, reach out for help. Reach out to one of us powerhouses and we'll help you know if you're overthinking it, if you need to step back and simplify some things, and really help you hone in on what it is you're trying to do with your form. I've got short forms like the weekly check-in survey. I've got those long ones like the new client onboarding one. That one did take me a while to set up, but I've done that over time too, as I've realized what things I want to make sure I'm asking for in there. And so that I'm not sending them 4 different forms, I'm sending them one form with different pages type of thing, which helps me a lot. So you're probably wondering, okay, what is the pricing? And today's pricing for Jotform, of course, your starter is free. The bronze is at $39 a month, but you'll save 20% if you do the year, if you bill yearly instead, which why doesn't it show me the total amount? Is there a way to click on it? I don't know. It's probably somewhere in here, but you can see the side by side here. For us coaches, though, we are just usually a 1-person team. So the free version is a great place to start. I'd recommend there before you commit to paying for a new tool like this. Make sure you like it, make sure it's serving you well, and go from there. If you need silver, what would you need silver for? Lots of different kinds of forms, lots of different kinds. And I don't know that you would need that unless, yeah. Okay. I think that's it for sharing those things.
I have a question.
Yes.
How long, I know you can't click through it all the way, but how long do you think your agreement is in jot form? And do you have it
What do
in the
you
card, not necessarily the card form, like do you have it also do like the conditional stuff, so like w with the agreement, or is it just kind of like words of agreement, click here?
so the onboarding form is asking those questions that you saw originally. Of course, that's the first kind of get to know you page. Excuse me. And then the next section is more about their numbers and their income. Okay.
Okay.
And their assets. And then I go into another page about debt. And then I get really granular here because I want that snapshot of where they are today so that I have the most information possible. And then I have them click if they have 1 to 5 debts, 6 to 10 debts, 7 to 15. And then
So
all those
kind
fields
of
will
the same
open.
thing you said earlier with it's not information overload when they open it. Because I
Yeah.
think that's the scariest part about the agreement sometimes. Mine gets very granular, and I think sometimes people are like, whoa, 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 what the heck am I signing up for? And right now, I'm using PDF, Adobe PDF,
Mm,
for my agreement. So this would be a good reason to switch it over to Jotform.
yeah. Yeah, quite possibly. I used to use just a Google Doc for my agreement type of thing. I'd PDF it and send it to them. I did used to require like a virtual signature on those, but then it was actually our good friend Seth Connell who I saw he put it into his job form. I'm like, that's brilliant. That's removing a step of me having to go after them to finish this client onboarding part. It's just a part of this. And I like that it becomes passive in a way, like they're accepting the terms without having to check a bunch of boxes, without having to print something out and do all these things. They're acknowledging that they're reading it and that they agree to the terms. So I know that I've got that to stand on when we go to areas where we might have to examine boundaries when it comes to the coaching relationship. So I really like that part. But that the agreement is the last part of my onboarding
Right, of
pages
course.
of everything.
And then my other question is, oh, by the way, I did not know this. I did not know you did the pets and the kids and the stepkids thing. Totally.
Adopt
Um,
it, add it to yours.
yes. And then how do you send the card one for the in-between sessions? The one, how do you get that sent out? Do you have that as an automation
I
also?
usually text it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Something I've toyed with but haven't set up yet is just creating like a weekly, like I put everyone into a weekly Calendly appointment that would become their like fake their prompt, the reminder type of thing. So then I'd set up the workflows for it to text out to them. But I haven't set that up yet. Thank you for reminding me of that. Good call. And then, of course, it would have the caveat on there if we've already got a call scheduled and we disregard type of thing. Or we could do both, I guess. We could do the call and the weekly
Yeah,
check-in.
sometimes I wish I would have people fill that out 5 minutes before our call so I'd have a heads up.
Yeah, right. Sometimes though I'm not checking because I've got it set up to email me when I've got a submission. But I'm not always checking that. And then I'm guessing that there's probably a way to, well, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I was going to say maybe Jotform would let me know, like with a badge or something on my computer, but I'm not sure if that
Mm.
is a functionality that they have. So, and I usually say no to a lot of those things because I don't need more notifications in my life. Not the glaring ones, you know. That's why I have Messenger and Facebook, the sounds turned off, because in some group threads, and Suzanne knows what I'm talking about, they go a little bananas with like boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden you're spending 10 minutes catching up on everything that people wrote. So I don't like the sounds on those things. But yeah. Any other
Awesome.
questions?
I've been using Jotform probably as long as you have, and I had no idea about that cards option. Not even a clue.
Well,
Nope.
I'm glad I shared something new. Oh, my voice is going, guys. Marie, any questions come to mind for you?
Um, okay, so I signed up for this because I've heard people use the term jot forms. I've heard Google Forms before. I think it was Google Forms, but I've never used any of it. So
Okay.
I'm like real fresh, still trying to get my business started. Um, when you were saying the basic fields and 50 widgets, what was that? Is that just like your little happy faces and stuff? Is that the widgets?
No, so those are emojis. That's the happy faces and the different like snowflake thing that I had on that one question, and like the bonfire one. Widgets are little tiny tools. So like if you wanted to give someone a limited amount of time to fill out the form, then you could add a countdown widget. So there are other little functionalities that you can add on there. Like on your cell phone, if you have an iPhone like I do, widgets could include things in your notification center, you know, like maybe the weather one or an update on your favorite sports team type of thing. So there are other little tools that you can add to your forms if you'd like. I don't think I use any.
Okay. And white labeling, that was, I was feeling like I should have been able to figure out when you were explaining that's just their way of like blocking things. Is that it?
Yeah, so they're trying to make sure that the purpose of you using Jotform is on the up and up, and that you're not trying to scam people. So they've got these algorithms in place basically to flag any keywords so that they'll stop you in your tracks from trying to collect sensitive data.
Understandable.
Yeah. So they'll close down your account or, you know, put a pause on it until you prove to them that that your intent is not to scam people. So like I had to send in a letter, but you know, a paragraph or so of like, I'm a financial coach. I'm collecting high level financial information from my clients that they want to share with me. I'm not asking for passwords. I'm not asking for account numbers. It's just helping me better serve them in this field that they've hired me to help them with.
Mm.
So
Yeah, a lot of times just having the word financial in our email addresses or business title will set off a red flag. I agree. And sometimes they give you the opportunity to explain yourself, and sometimes they don't.
yeah, it did take a minute for me to figure out what the heck was going on. Like they just shut me down, and the explanation back then was not very clear, and my next steps were not very clear either. I had to do some digging in their support documents and different things. So, and then I think I also searched at the time. My coaching group was on Facebook, where I started out, and so I did a search in there to see if anyone else had had the same problem I had. You know, had the same questions I did. And lo and behold, they had, because I'm not the first one to have these questions, you know. That's why I like search features when we're in coaching communities to see if other people have already talked about this topic type of thing. So be it payment platforms or consultations or other types of things, you know, there's probably someone else that's already asked the question. So you're not the first new coach. I'm not the first new coach. I'm not the first seasoned coach that didn't know about XYZ. It's okay. We all learn new things.
Yep, every day we learn something new.
Mhm.
So I very much appreciate what you did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What do you think you're going to